Uh, One Piece is on a break, so that means we're back. Welcome, and if you know what it is, you know what's going on. We're doing a catch up from the One Piece chapter since the last time we were here. I believe that is chapter 150, 156, all the way up through 160. Doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot went down in these chapters. So if y'all ready, let's get into it. Welcome back to the Nerding with Friends podcast. I'm your host, C-Row Money, that's C.R.O. joined by my co-host, Codename Comment.
Salutations, my fellow blurs, nerds, and peaceful herds. It's your boy Codename Comment. How y'all doing?
And we're talking One Piece, so you know who had to come and join us? It's Justin from the One Piece podcast.
Thanks for having me. I love to be here. I wish I had my co-host here, but he's still busy being, I don't know, Papa Piece,
Papa Peace.
I don't know what we call him now, but he's doing his thing, but I'm glad to be here.
Shout out to
Hey.
Papa Peace.
You know, fathers in One Piece, they tend to be pretty awesome, and the mothers just happen to not be there. I'm glad that his family is intact. And in this episode, we're going to talk about some pretty bad fathers and some pretty good ones. So I think we're in for a great episode. But before we get into any of that, please make sure to like, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Check us out on social medias, Instagram, Nerding with Friends 1, TikTok, Countdown Publishing. Those are the big ones. And Nerding with Friends on YouTube, of course. But to get things started, we're rolling out with a new format for the podcast. We hope you all like it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We're introducing segments to this thing, and we're going to kick things off with Codename and the Nerding News Network.
How y'all doing? It's your boy Codename. So, join on with me with the Nerding News Network. I am just here to, just give a little bit of shout out, a little bit of hits, to just let you know kind of what's going on in the nerdy news. So we're going to start out with a quick shout out to Demon Slayer. I don't know who's all been watching it. I just recently started catching back up, and I gotta say it's probably the best time. So Demon Slayer just passed Spirited Away, becoming the second highest grossing film in Japan. Combined, that is, they combined with their preview of the opening earnings estimated at 33 million, surpassing Pokemon the first movie. And I thought that was actually pretty cool, specifically because this is a movie that we all grew up with. This is something that came out in 1999, and even then they earned 31 million. But the way that they went about doing it, they actually started on Wednesday. So they had about 5 days, which was a little bit different based on what we have, now. So that in itself shows that, Demon Slayer has done, 2 more million in probably 2 less days. So really it's on a curve. And I thought, to me personally, I know we all grew up with Pokemon. Am I right? So,
Yeah,
did y'all
yeah,
know
for
that
sure.
this is? Did y'all know that this is only the second L that Pokemon took this week?
Ooh.
And the reason I say that specifically because another company that, if you didn't know, Pokemon Nintendo has been in a little bit of contention with another company called Pocket Pair. Pocket
Mm.
Pair is known for its game Power World, or as the streets call it, Pokemon with that heat. Pokemon with guns. Pocket Pair recently just released, or they just released a statement stating that they are on the way to releasing their number one, Power World game in its final form, as we all know it. It's not done until it's done, and they finally gotten there in the process of multiple lawsuits with Pokemon, and they still made it happen. Within the process of that, they've also partnered with people like Sony and Aniplex, which, if you know anime, you know Aniplex. So just another, cool thing. I thought that, it's cool to see how all of these different worlds kind of bridge together. And, unfortunately, Pokemon, we see in anime and we know in all here, all stories that, sometimes you just live long enough. If you don't die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And it's unfortunate, but that seems to have happened to Pokemon. And speaking of villains, another story that I've heard recently, Chris kind of actually brought me to this, but DC Comics. It sounds like that Red Hood story that we might have been waiting for might take a little bit longer than we might have thought, because sounds like the writers might have spoke a little bit too much on the interwebs, and because of that, the comic itself has been pulled. They haven't not yet said how long that will be or if it will ever come back, but from what we know currently, it's just going to be on the shelf. So, that spoken just after talking to Chris and just looking at myself, that does not mean that the Nightwing and Red Hood, what is it, animated show or movies is still going to come out. It's DC, so that means we don't know when that's going to happen, but you just be prepared that it should be pretty good. Moving on from DC news, what else is going on out there? Do we have any Dandadan watchers out there?
I'm caught up as of the most recent episode was 9/19, so yeah, I'm caught up right now.
Smart man, and hopefully the rest of y'all are also caught up because they just announced that season 3 of the anime is on the way. I have not caught up on the manga. With the way that the anime is gone, I'm at that point where it's like, I need to go ahead and pick up some books. As Chris say, read, motherfucker, read. It's at that point.
Manga's great, too. Excellent artwork. I'm a little bit ahead where it is, but not caught up yet.
What you think about this season?
I've really enjoyed it so far. The animation, especially in the last few episodes, I'm gonna try to keep this relatively spoiler free for everyone. But it's been exciting, not choppy. Like it's. I want to say that it's complemented the manga in a lot of ways. The manga has a lot of detail, and sometimes you can't have it emulated exactly perfectly. If you think of other series, kind of like One Punch Man, the One Punch Man artist can create perfectly glass-like mugs or cups or whatever. And so something has to change. And I think what Dandadan has done really well is translating the detail in the artwork from the manga into motion in animation. And so it's been a lot of fun to just watch and enjoy it. There's been some controversy here and there with the music. I'll just stick there to avoid spoilers for everyone. But there's been some controversy over the music, but there's a lot of great pop culture references. The voice acting, both for the English dubs and for the sub, has been fantastic. I've kind of flipped between them because I like to know things, see who I recognize. It's gonna be one of those. It's going to be really heartbreaking when it doesn't win Anime of the Year, because Frieren Season 2 and JJK and One Punch Man Season 3 are all up there, but it's good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like you said, for as good as Dandadan is, one of those things that I was just looking at earlier is, some of the things that are going to be coming out, over the coming months. So it's looking like as of October 4th, we should have 2 of the anime favorites on the way back. We have the final season of My Hero. So I see Chris already shaking his head. I'm hoping for the best. We'll see. Part of me shaking my head is that, I'm sorry that it's already over and I wish it could have been a little bit longer. But just to bring up a little bit of spirits, Spy Family Season 3, it's on its way back. And those are just some of the ones that we know. Y'all can always let me know if there's some shows that y'all would, like to hear that are, on the way or on the way back or just, in the works. We're always looking for new shows, but that's your anime news. Peace.
Awesome. Y'all let us know what you think is the most important update, what you're looking forward to the most, and what you love. Thank you, Codename, for that Nerding News Network segment.
Appreciate you.
And we've got one more quick little segment here before we hop into what we know y'all are tuned in for, and that's the Countdown Chronicle, where we give you updates on what we've got going on over at Countdown Publishing, the parent company of the podcast, if you will. Let's see, we've got this new website out. You guys check that out, countdownpublishing.com. Lots of great new updates to that thing. We've got the shop open, so if you've seen us at any of the conventions, all those prints that we were selling, those are now all available online. We got some awesome designs, some of my favorites. They're all done right now by Michael Bishop Jr., drawn by Mr. Bishop on Instagram. We'll throw that tag in there. Some of my favorite pieces are the Goku Ultra Instinct with Luffy Gear 5.
Yeah.
There's a Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman tribute, Black Gojo, Bulbasaur in Paradise. Just real stunning artwork. Put it in your office, hang it up in your man cave. Real good stuff. We've got some stickers from the Veroko comic of the different symbols of the different classes of Veroko. And if you're wondering what Veroko type you are, there is a quiz over on the Veroko page of the website. Quick little personality quiz. You guys go check that out. Answer a few questions. Figure out what personality type you are in the world of Veroko, what power you'd have. And if you do, let us know. Share it with us on Facebook or, shoot us a message on Instagram. Tag us in it. We'll give you a shout out. All types of fun stuff on that end. We've also got a blog, got a couple of articles on there about the different shows we're watching. Two of my favorite ones talking about all the villains that Goku is never going to beat, and the new generation of all of the people who were involved in the old generation of One Piece. So you think about your Rocks, Garp, Roger, Kaido, Big Mom, their kids ain't no slouches either, so we highlighted some of those. And just to wrap things up, we've got some forms on that website. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, the Countdown Chronicle, where we'll have updates on the website, discount codes for comic books and merchandise, and a lot of updates like with the Nerding News Network. And we've even got a guy that's going to contribute to some of those articles coming up on here with Mr. Piesco. So we've also got links to the podcast on the website just to tie everything back together. So go on, head over to countdownpublishing.com. But now let's get into it. The One Piece is real and so is the hype. Man, oh man. I know I wanted to do a bingo card update. Let's save that for the end because I gotta jump into this, man.
It's too much going on.
I gotta jump into this, man. God Valley is here. I want to hand this off to Justin. We're gonna start off from the top. How do you feel about the Kuja pirates, namely Shakayaku, being the treasure of Hachinosu, the prize of God Valley, the whole reason all this epic events is going down?
I like that you gave me a pointed question because you just set me up with what do you think about God Valley? I think my brain is spinning. I don't even know how to answer this. Shaki being cool from the very beginning, being laid back, being the one that everyone likes. On the one hand, you're like, okay, everybody is staring at her and calling her beautiful. On the other hand, she also has she's got an aura about her. Every time she looks at somebody, talks to someone, you're like, she's not going to be intimidated by anyone. She is not impressed by anyone. She seems to like Rayleigh just because he seems to just see her as a person. He does find her attractive, as does everyone. But her being the peak, the prize, the person that everyone projects their ideals of perfection onto, she's living up to the part. Like even on stage when everyone else is crying, she still looks tough. Like there's no other way around it. I get it. It's horrible. It's reprehensible. I absolutely hate everybody that is putting on this. The Celestial Dragons are the worst. I get it from the evil people's perspective.
This is like, it's one of those situations where like you don't expect it, but it's like, they talk about the theory culture. I don't see anywhere in the world where this theory could have ever come to be because no one would have thought about this. And it's one of those situations where the way that it wraps everything together so seamlessly without really being the biggest thing, because we already know exactly how everything plays out. So you know exactly how where everything goes to. But the fact that you add her as the true prize, the reason why everyone's going there, it just changes the entire narrative. Like, this is the reason why, we think we've been told all of these stories and all of these things about who Rox was and, who Roger was, and everything changes simply because they both went to save the same person.
It's wild, just to think about seeing the Shuja pirates. I mean, the Shuja.
Kuja?
I'm thinking about Varoko. When we met the Kuja pirates, three characters that have a lot of significance here. We got Gloriosa, who was the leader for a while before she joined the Rocks Pirates. And then, Shaki, who we were just talking about, her coming over. But another person we met is Tritoma. And unfortunately, we know what happens to her. She's the Empress that fell to the love sickness. And as of the events of God Valley, she is the Empress. So we don't know if the Kuja Pirates will also arriving, knowing that Shaki is being captured. But wouldn't it be interesting if Tritoma happens to run into Dragon while they're going through something? And we're going to get into him later, but Dragon is, in my eyes, one of maybe only two real heroes on God Valley right now.
Yeah.
So if she's the fall for anybody there, is this Luffy's mom? Do we think Tritoma is Luffy's mom? I would hop off the Chronicle mom theory for this one.
It's funny that you should mention that because with that being the case, Dragon in the situation that he's in right now. If he were to see her, he wouldn't give a damn who she was, and that would be enough. That would be enough for her to fall for him because she treated him like a human being. Like, that's what we've learned about the Kuja Pirates. When they find someone, or they find someone who treats them like a human, they can't help but fall for it. Like, we've seen it with Luffy, we've seen it with Rayleigh. Like, why?
Except Gloriosa, Roger don't treat her.
Well, there is that. But you can say Roger does that because of Shaki currently. But, we know where Roger ends up later. Say,
she found gold. We get it.
Right. Yeah. So, with the situation like that, it's like, a conversation that you and I had off mic was, where does Shaki go after all of this? It would make sense if they just did go and save her. If everyone knows where she is based on like information that, shout out to young Jenny, but Jenny got out there, and that Morgan's spread like wildfire, what's stopping the Kuja Pirates from getting that same information? They just might be a little bit slow to pull up.
What do you think, Justin?
We also have the added on part of neither of them, like Tritoma or Dragon, might even be thinking about romance at this point. Like, everybody's dying, everybody's getting like he's carrying two kids, or
literally
carrying at least one, depending on the situation. I mean, we assume Shanks and Shamrock, something has to happen to split them up. But something that I'm also kind of considering is if Shaki is the top prize, what we're talking about here is this recreation or reevaluation of what we consider to be treasure. Because, initially we're thinking all of these
Devil
riches, all
fruits.
these devil fruits, and
Yeah.
above all of them as a person, it potentially is like making us reevaluate what the One Piece even is too. We've had a lot of fan theories on is it gold, is it riches, is it the Bink sake that is shared for the greatest party around the world? Is it something that we're not even thinking of that is more important? That at the end of the day, is it people? Is it a person? Is it
The
an entire
friends we
group?
made along the way.
Not the friends we made along the way. Is it an alien civilization on the moon? I'm not saying it's someone new, or I'm not saying it's someone we've already met. I think the chances are that it's something greater than just a thing. Is maybe just what Oda's trying to get to right now. Is like, okay, yeah, devil fruits are a thing, but lots of people have devil fruits. Lots of people have mythical devil fruits. Lots of people have Logia devil fruits. But the most beautiful woman in the world, there's just one. So there's something else to be said on how Oda views what we're considering to be prizes.
Right.
If we're just looking at it as a thing to instill power, that may not be all that it is. It might also just be what's going to be the status. Is it going to be something that contributes to control? Because that's a big part of all of this is controlling people, controlling the narrative, controlling who gets to decide what's right and wrong. So I think this is setting us up for a lot of heartache, but twists that we really enjoyed too. So
I think
Yeah,
I
and
think to kind
maybe
of go with that, it sounds like it's something that at the very least is going to be universally coveted by all people involved. Because that's the one thing we can say about Shaki. It doesn't matter who it is; everyone seems to have that same kind of reaction to her.
yeah.
well,
I mean, and then what we know somebody saw it and they laughed. So
Yeah,
this the irony, it might be the biggest twist in fiction.
we do know that Luffy
yeah,
wouldn't fall for that though. Luffy
this
does
is very
not
true.
care about romance. Be like, why is everyone staring? Well, we should help her out, but like, y'all are weird.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have any food? Like that's
What
that's
a
what's going
food
to
man.
determine if she gets helped or not. But we're over here talking about riches and treasures and devil fruits. Let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Rox D. Xebec, and his plan to take over the world involving two devil fruits that we never hear and find out what they are. And I think some crazy irony is that one of them is on Elbaf, is what it seems like. It's probably this devil fruit that they talked about that is the prize of Elbaf. Um, I'm pretty sure that's one of them. Don't know what the other one is. If you guys have any ideas, let us know in the comments. But um, you would assume one of them has got to be Luffy's devil fruit. Uh, but this other one that's on Elbaf, the irony that Loki wanted to join Rox's crew so many times, and he told him no. And there's a 90% chance that Loki has that devil fruit that Rox was looking
Hmm.
for all of those years ago. So let's just talk about Rox and these devil fruit. What do you guys think that those devil fruits might be? And is one of them the Nika Nika fruit?
I'll let you go, Justin.
All right, all right. So I think one thing that is telling about what the devil fruit might be was Rock saying that he specifically wanted a devil fruit to be eaten by Harold. And so it
Mm,
wasn't just a devil fruit, it was a devil fruit that's optimized by being eaten by a giant. So I get the feeling that that wouldn't be the Nika fruit. I'm not certain about that. I do think that the Nika fruit, if Luffy was a giant, would be interesting, but it doesn't seem to be something that is particularly size dependent. If Luffy wants to be super big, he just can be super big anyways.
What if, look, I don't, it's not that I disagree, but what if the reason he believed it to be someone that needed to be a giant because of Joy Boy, who could have been a giant before. So
If the
it's the
initial Nika
idea
fruit,
of like, well, if I can recreate this, this will be the
or
best way.
or there wouldn't be Luffy's devil fruit that he wanted Harold to eat. It was the other one. I could see Rocks wanting the Nika fruit for himself.
I can see that too. Yeah, it's more in line with his character, the freedom.
But I do feel like the Yomi Yomi no Mi has to fit in there somewhere.
The thing is, I feel like with everything, it's about not necessarily narratives, but it's about wills, and it tends to be that the will does not follow the father. So what if in this case we're dealing with two wills where we're expecting one thing, but it's actually the opposite. So whereas Blackbeard's will may be more aligned with someone like Roger, and Luffy's will might be in line with someone closer to Rocks, where you would think that they're even down from a fate standpoint, they should follow a specific directive, or they may even try to do something very specific, but at every chance their fate in itself is just going to turn them exactly the opposite direction. So for someone like Blackbeard, who might have thought, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do, then he gets turned to the darkness. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, then he gets turned to Whitebeard's fruit. So it's like maybe like whereas his alignment, his expectation is I'm supposed to do it based on this, it's really the opposite, whereas like he can't even help himself. And Luffy, I would assume, is kind of like the inverse of that. Because even there's like when you look at Rocks, his personality is more like a chaotic Luffy, which is kind of a.
He does seem to want to be free. I mean, like, and he's going to battle to free Shaki. I mean, it's a little tricky because the Davy back fight is to kind of get somebody stuck on his crew, but also. Yeah. It's also stuck by their own will, kind of, because like the Davy back fight is like we're all coming in on equalish terms. We know there's a lot of cheating going on, but we agree on the cheating being part of the rules,
right?
And so, as you're absorbed into a new crew, it's because your will is based on your own like honor, your own integrity. Mm-hmm. So. I think there's an argument to be had that that's still him wanting to uphold a certain kind of freedom. I think Luffy didn't want to take anybody from the opposing crews during his Davy back fight because he didn't like any of them.
Yeah.
But I think Luffy absorbing someone outside of a crew into his crew through a Davy back fight definitely makes more sense than someone like Kaido who just beats them, defeats them, and demands their subservience.
Right. I mean, if Luffy was somebody who was more calculated like that, like let's ask the question: who would Luffy have brought on his team? Like, there would have been a decent amount of people more people, I would say, that he'd probably had at least 13 at this point, because there's been people that he's asked to join, but if he had the the will or the wherewithal to be like, you know what, hey, Davey, fight me right now. If I lose, you get something from me. If you lose, get on the ship. Like, I do believe that Luffy doesn't have the intellect to make those decisions. We know that's how Blackbeard built his crew.
Yeah, Luffy doesn't have long-term goals, or he doesn't have like conquering aspirations in the same way. His conquering is just to do what he wants, where he wants, and too many people just get in the way. So I think that was why he initially was at 10 people for his crew. It's not so much that he doesn't like more people. I think he likes a lot of people that he's met along the way. Vivi, Bon Clay, all of the princesses he's ever met.
Yeah.
But like even when
that tree on Thriller Bark,
all of the zombies on Thriller Bark up until he realized they were attacking.
The dude stuck in the treasure chest.
Yeah. Oh, I should know his name off the top of my head. That's upsetting.
I cannot remember his name.
No, you should not. Get out of here.
Gaimon?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not quite off the top. I got there.
Gaimon, I got another G word for you guys. How do you feel about Galley Law? Because that's another part of Rox's plan. Grabbing those frozen giants we saw all the way back on Punk Hazard. It is crazy how Oda makes these, I'm not going to call them throwaway arcs, but they're the arcs where it's like, okay, this is a setup for something. You know, you think about your Skypias, your Thriller Barks, your Punk Hazard.
Long
you know,
Rain
like,
Longland.
Yeah, so what you
The
guys
filler
think?
that wasn't.
Justin, what do you think about these frozen giants, man? We know where they're at, you know, like how does Rocks?
My brain is not big enough for all of this. You have to like reread the entire series. Rox has only been around for 7 chapters. 7
Wow.
chapters have we seen him. It's changed
That's
everything
crazy.
in 7 chapters.
That's crazy.
When we got into this arc, when we got into this flashback, it was because Harudin was talking to Loki and says, "I'll give you 3 minutes to convince me to let you go." It's been 7 chapters, 40 years. So you're asking me about Punk Hazard and the giants there. I'm still stuck on. I thought. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me this is how you both saw it. I thought Punk Hazard was a predominantly forest, grassy island, and it became half frozen, half fire because of the fight between Aokiji and Akainu. That's what I thought. However, if those frozen giants were already there and frozen, some of the place had to have already been frozen.
Yeah.
That's not how I perceived it initially. Now I have to go back and read that arc again. Because I'm like, wait a second, what were the logistics? Chris, please tag me in or tag me out.
So this is what I thought. I thought that they were frozen before, and I thought when they started doing the research on Punk Hazard, they brought them there.
Oh, they found them and then brought them there because it's a safe camouflage.
And remember, that's also where Caesar was doing all the giant experiments. So I figured that maybe they were using something from those giants. Because at first I thought it was those, the Yeti brothers?
Yeah.
Dog. Yeah. I thought maybe they were like using them, but I'm like, you know, you got to have some type of a base for all this stuff. That's like with Dr. Vegapunk when he was making the devil fruits, you know, like they're from other devil fruits, so he's able to get the sample and then cloning and the relationship he had with Caesar. And then I found out about those giants. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Giant experiments being done. They grabbed these giants, they moved it to Punk Hazard to help Caesar with those experiments.
Okay. We can even add to that too, because we know that Big Mom is the one effectively, or Big Mom is the one that wants these things. I guess Caesar is kind of double dealing with Big Mom and with Kaido and with Doflamingo like a lunatic. But if Big Mom is funding part of it, Big Mom would have the connection to Rocks to potentially know about the giants, then to get them there at a place where they would be researched on. Okay, I can buy all of that. This is now an island that is camouflaged for this. Big Mom wants them studied, so she travels them there to the scientist. I can go along with that.
I'll take that theory. I'll run with it. What do you guys think? There's a lot going on. If we missed anything, please let us know. But because they're shipwrights, we now have more giant shipwrights, and they're connection to the Galilog we met in Water 7. Do you think there is any connection there to Pluton?
I think it would have to be, right? Like, because you know what we've seen of what we've seen and know of Oda is there's no situation that goes unturned. So the fact that they've been mentioned again, it's only a matter of time before someone goes and gets them, right? And I believe that certain groups have to level themselves up. Like we always talk about how, you know, Pluton could have been something that, you know, Blackbeard gets. But didn't Crocodile want Pluton?
Crocodile did want Pluton.
Back in Alabasta.
Why couldn't he go back and get him? Why couldn't they figure out a way? Like, that would be another, like, you know, I've been talking about for the longest time, like, we need the former warlords to gang up on, or not gang up, but to join together with the Cross Guild. You add someone like a Moria, put some shadows in them giants, and start building.
Well,
Yeah.
we have the giant ship too. We've got the Noah, out down in
Mhm.
Fishman Island. So like we have a
Hmm.
little bit of precedent for some giant ships. Uh, whether it's a weapon or a ship or what it is a little confusing because like if the Noah isn't something like Pluton, then does that
Yeah.
mean the Noah is going to be dwarfed? You know, if Princess Shirahoshi is going to be on Noah or whatever to guide the uh, Neptunians,
Fish people.
the sea beasts, the
Oh yeah, the sea beast.
Hmm.
like what's bigger? You know, we're at this spot now where we got people with devil fruits
Right.
that can destroy the world. Uh, what are the ancient weapons even going to be or look like?
Mm.
That's a good point. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you look
mean,
how big that the cloud that keeps blowing up islands looks like.
well, we have to have some idea of how big Pluton is because we know that there is. We know it's under Wano right now,
Yeah.
so it has to fit within those dimensions. So I imagine it being smaller than Noah. I think
Mm.
it's probably built from the Adam tree wood. It's probably
Yeah.
super durable. I imagine there's some type of crazy weapons involved with it as well. I wouldn't be surprised if, Frankie from seeing the blueprints was able to incorporate some things into the Thousand Sunny,
Hmm.
but I know him, and this is his dream shit. Who knows? Maybe it all is just all original stuff from him, and it might be something that even makes it better than Pluton because he would know like where any faults may lay. So the Thousand Sunny might be the best ship on the Seven Seas, or how
Good
many there
question.
are in One Piece.
You know what we talked about before with the mural? Like, what if the thing that was in front of Frankie was Pluton? Like, so for him to see, hey, this is where Pluton fits within the grand scheme of everything else. It's like, this is why the information that I learned on those 2 years away, like, this is why it matters even more. So it's something that matters really only to him, but when you contextualize it with what he understands, like it just kind of adds more validity to why he needs to build Pluton. Because
I
at some
think
point in time, like you'll need it, I guess.
no, I think there are two interesting things that are going to change. I mean, I don't know when it'll happen. It's something to just kind of look out for. Uh, but when we left Wano, we learned about like there's this entire city beneath the current Wano. You know,
Right.
when we were on Egghead, we learned about how the sea levels are rising. One of the
Hmm.
other things that we're going to be waiting for is Iceberg back on Water 7 to be moving Water 7. Like that's his big grand plan is to
Mm.
make it float.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
And so there's something that's going to happen there too to tie it back to the Galileo Giants. If there's this history that is beneath the water, if we're moving Water 7, I'm just curious. I'm curious what's going to be there. Is there going to be something found? Is he going to manage to make
Yeah.
all the way down to the seafloor float? Is he just going to make what's above sea level currently float? And is it going to be moving away from something that's already there? I'm just curious. We're going to be something to look out for since we're getting a lot of like, you know, pointing back to the history of Galila. I'm curious about what's going to happen there when it happens.
Yeah, and I hope Oda remembers all this too. But here's the last thing I'm going to say about Galileo, noticing that this is in the most contrived flashback we've gotten. Once we cut back to the present day, there's really nobody around that knows about these frozen giants. Like, this is
No.
Rocks talking to
Yeah.
them about the Rocks pirates who are either dead in some lava somewhere or in jail. So it's wishful thinking. I would love to see how he ties all this back together. These little nuggets we're getting here from people that we might not ever hear from again.
Maybe Mads too. As it
Maybe
did
Mads
Mads.
too.
Yeah, Mads joined back together, didn't they? And then they're both in situations where they don't really have anything to protect him. I was pretty sure Judge's kid said F him.
Yes, I mean Stussy was there, but we'll see. She's gonna need to run to somebody to get her son out. But
Right.
let's switch gears back over to Harold, and this whole flashback started with his death, so we know where it's gonna end from God Valley. But he made a deal with the Gorosei to take out Rocks, and that initially, ended their friendship. But after that, they did meet again, and
exchange drinks.
Yes, and when we see two strong users talk, it's usually about the D Clan, and we got not only the D Clan mentioned, but we also got mention of the Davy Clan. Rocks xEBEC is actually Davy xEBEC, which means that Blackbeard, aka Marshall D. Teach, isn't just Rocks D. Teach. He is Davy D. Teach. Justin, what does this reveal of Rocks being a descendant of Davy Jones mean to you and One Piece?
Some part of me always wants to think that maybe there's a twist and Teach isn't the end game. I'm still upset with the Kainu. I may not ever be upset with
we
the
gotta
Kainu.
go finish that still.
I may never be over it. Like we're like, oh,
right.
Kainu's gotta
we ain't
be
spun yet.
A Kainu's gonna be beaten by Sabo or somebody else, or maybe he's secretly a part of Sword, and I want to be like, oh man,
he better not be. It better be Fujitori or nobody else.
But listen, if you're the Davy Clan, if you're potentially a Buccaneer, it's very hard for you not to be the greatest villain. However, I think Oda also is letting us know that it is the structure. The structure is the problem more than any one person. Yeah. Rocks is talked about as the most evil person. Blackbeard, we see him as being the most evil person. We talk about him being the end game one-on-one fight with Luffy. But I do think that it's still going to be the structure of the entire world that is going to be the thing that has to be thwarted. Maybe Blackbeard is beaten. Maybe Luffy survives for a little bit longer. Maybe he doesn't. But what we're seeing now is that there are smart leaders, there are foolish leaders, there are smart leaders on the good side, there are foolish leaders on the good side, there are smart leaders on the bad side, there are foolish leaders on the bad side, and things won't just change from someone being defeated. It's not just going to be a fight. So I do think that this is letting us know that Blackbeard is a big deal. Maybe one of the biggest deals that Luffy is going to be able to punch his way through. But I also think with this flashback to God Valley, with that image of Blackbeard being 2 years old and looking horrified on stage, he can't just be the ultimate evil. Like, he's not. And so, yes, maybe he is the demon from the Davy Clan, but he's not going to be the end of the story. Even if there is a big climactic fight, there's more to it than that.
Yeah. Like, he's a product of the evil. He's not the evil itself. Beautifully said.
I mean, that's clip that up.
Yeah, it's like beautifully said.
Oh man, just ranted at you guys. I appreciate you.
That was that's you're absolutely right, because like you said, it's like we've seen it happen time and time again, and the only person who seems to have a bit of a control over that whole process is the guy who's been pulling the strings the whole time, which seems to be Emu. So I think, like we've heard and like we've been told, there is always a narrative that is spun, because the person that we've met of Rocks, there's no reason to believe that he's the bad person that everyone has told us. We've just seen everything but that. So it's just, to me, there's a reason for this narrative to be spun in a way that was believable. And I think that's what we're leading to with, what we always see, a things that happen in the future or things that happen in the present often happened in the past, and I think he's going to get Domi reversied, and I think that is the answer that they'll all have. I think that's just enough for them to really say, "Oh, this is the villain that we made him out to be." But in truth, we know that it's Emu. But I think Blackbeard is, like you said, someone who was only created by that process, who was only created by that structure. And unfortunately, he's probably someone that could break the structure even more so than Luffy. But unfortunately, it seems like we might get to a situation where Luffy doesn't get a chance to understand that before taking Blackbeard out, or, taking out someone who probably should have been his ally.
Not to get too therapist-y. I'm not a therapist, but not to get too therapist-y on the situation. There's a psychological process where when somebody is abused, when somebody is going through trauma as a child, they tend to be more likely to continue that cycle of then putting that on someone else.
Yep.
We tend to like the characters that go through that trauma and then put good out into the world, which is basically everybody on the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally.
But we also get it. Like, Blackbeard went through a lot, and he went through it constantly. And so to just say that there's something genetic about him that makes him the bad guy doesn't make sense. Shanks and Shamrock, we see them as being basically the same. If one had gone the other direction, if one had been brought out to be a pirate outside of the Celestial Dragons, he ended up being one of the greatest Haki users, the hero of our protagonist. And the other one looks like he is one of the greatest evils still floating around right now.
It's cool to see both of those father figures at the same time, too. Like, we see why they became who they are.
Yep, we totally get it. Nobody flinched. We saw Shamrock and we're like, oh, yep, he's with the Celestial Dragon.
That sounds right? Yes, that's what he's been.
I'll say this about Blackbeard, though, and just from what we've seen, I feel like everything he's done, for the most part, has been justified to some extent. He is looking for the ultimate... He had to kill old boy.
The dark fruit.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Thatch is the one thing I'm like, hey, you ain't had to kill Thatch. But
Thatch might be the one. Let me find out that Thatch's dad was a choku.
Then we good.
Because understood. He made a lot of people fight to the death and then fell down. Like, we're not going to be pro-prisoner violence here.
As he's a pirate. This is a pirate anime, and he is being a pirate. That is very pirate-like behavior. But one of the things about Blackbeard is he always talks about faith and how these things happen to him. And faith really is on his side on so many levels, especially when it comes to this historic get back he's doing for his father. He was going after Luffy. That was his first. Outside of the people of Drum Island, we'll figure out what happened there, but outside of that, we got he wanted Luffy.
He was a criminal.
And if you're telling me your grandpa and this other dude ran up and killed my dad, we got some issues.
That's true, yeah. Garp was working for the people that had him on the slave the stage.
Yeah,
he's looking for last names.
And then
whenever you were upset, so you're right. That's a good reason to be upset with Luffy. Yeah.
And then he can't get Luffy, because Luffy's got even a higher calling. So who's the next person to come? Oh, you telling me your dad, your adoptive dad, were both involved in killing my dad? I got you next.
And he came to him. Right, Ace found him.
If you remember that interaction too, when it first started, he invites Ace to join him. He's like, Ace, buddy, like, why don't you join me? Like, this is the thing. Like, we're going after Straw Hat Luffy, and now with this context, we're like, oh yeah, because Straw Hat Luffy's the son of, or the grandson of Garp. We get why this would be a thing. And Ace is like, no, he's my brother. Oh, he's your brother. Oh, here's your
Oh,
so you're part of
nice.
the family that have been like installing this government that's been enslaving and doing all this.
Pulls out the
Right,
little
Ace.
notebook.
All right, Ace.
So we gotta write that
Yeah,
name in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to take you instead.
You know, I think he wanted Luffy because he saw his bounty. But I
Yeah.
think being a Monkey D was just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And then let's take it another step further. We get to Marineford. Whitebeard, you were on my dad's crew. You were his right-hand man. What
Where
did
was
you
you?
do? What were
Where
you
was
doing
you when he
when
died?
they beat him down? Oh, okay. He got it. Hachinosu. Oh, what happened to Shaki? Why weren't you on God Valley? Oh, Chaco? Hey, Kobe. Law, y'all trying to get in on this? Fellow D.
we trying to jump.
That's all I'm saying. Blackbeard, he's getting his get back. You know, he's been wrong. And as somebody who I like to think I'm a little petty sometimes, I could appreciate a good get back. You know, I'm not mad at it. Like you said, Thatch, horrible. What he did to Boa Hancock, horrible. What he did to Bonnie, horrible. But something, you know, I was under the impression Blackbeard was attacking the revolutionaries trying to get into the good graces of the world government. And now it just might be like, oh, Dragon, I heard you were on God Valley. I heard you helped Garling's kids. Why didn't you help me?
Oh, you're a former Marine. You want me to think you're a revolutionary when you were a former Marine. Right.
He's a fraud. So I'm about to just stop everything you doing.
You're a phony. Hey, guys,
Literally.
he's a phony.
This guy's not a real revolutionary.
Yeah,
that's
hey,
I get it.
Blackbeard is shown in a very different light, and he's a character, you know, like, we know things about him. You know, he doesn't sleep. You know, he might be a Buccaneer. You know, we know he's a Davy Clan member. He might be a Buccaneer. We don't know what special properties Dad has.
Yeah,
and then
sorry, just let's stay on that for a second. He doesn't sleep. You know, we thought like, oh, it's a genetic thing. Or it could be that he was hyper traumatized as a child. It just can't.
Right.
Just can't sleep anymore.
Sleep has nightmares with everything he hadn't seen at the age of 2.
And you see, like, that picture of him as a kid crying under the crescent moon. Like, is that Garling? Like, the person who did all of this stuff? Is that what he's crying under? And that really brings even more context to when we saw the Roger Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates clash in the Odin flashback. And he's staring at Shanks. He was like, I remember you. You were there. You don't remember me. But I know what your dad did. And you on my list too. The one scar Shanks has outside of that chomp mark on his arm is from Blackbeard. I'm just saying, this man, it's a generational get back. He deserves to go in the Hall of Fame for this.
It's the best of all time. It's got to be the best of all time because of how calculated he is, and because he don't mind going down a generation. Like he will put himself in the right positions for as long as he needs, and he'll strike exactly when the time is right. And he has done it multiple times, and it's unfortunate that he probably will get Shanks too.
Yeah, and it's Justin, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to take a beat to be like, all right, I've talked myself into forgiving way too much for Blackbeard.
It's hard to think.
Yeah.
He used to be a villain.
It's one of those, but I can appreciate it, and you know, but that's why we have Luffy too, is to be like, all right, people do deserve hands. I'm going to give it to them, but also maybe I don't want to try to make everyone else's life worse along the way.
Right.
And that's kind of the distinction here. Blackbeard might be relatively justified. We can kind of see his perspective, but the whole like take no prisoners. If you're in my way, that's it for you too. We could still say comfortably that Blackbeard is the bad guy that needs to be stopped,
Yeah.
Even if we're like, Luffy, there might be other people you get to first. That's all. Maybe get to some more of the Celestial Dragons. Maybe get to Imu, the Gorosei. Maybe get to them first. See how Blackbeard feels. Then go after Blackbeard. That's all I'm saying. Just maybe order of operations here.
The problem with Blackbeard is he doesn't mind burning the town just to get his man. If you just happen to be in that town, oh well, I got my man. And that's his problem.
What we're seeing is a man who is dedicated to the cause. He sees, like, this is what I have to do and the world will be perfect. It's almost like Obito, from Naruto.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how many lives are going to get sacrificed. If the One Piece, the infinite Tsukiyomi, wouldn't that be something?
Right. That's what he's trying to get to.
Yeah, and the Rod Deprivers are laughing because we have great lives. We don't want to change anything.
Oda set up aliens way, way, way back 600, 700 chapters ago, okay? Yes, it was in cover stories, but we're not getting some random... it's Blackbeard plus there's an alien that's really controlling Blackbeard. We're not doing that.
Right. Oh. Whoa.
Rocks can control Blackbeard, but
it's
not...
He got three sides to him.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that alarm go off? That means it's theory time. But before we get into that, I do want to say this. If your manga runs long enough, you will eventually get aliens. It doesn't matter what it is. If it runs Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen. What else? Sailor Moon. If it goes on long enough, you're going to get aliens. Yu Yu Hakusho didn't go on long enough. We didn't get any aliens yet.
It was almost there. Bleach too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that both Yusuke and Ichigo probably had another ancestor that was an alien.
But if it doesn't have aliens, it's because it already has demons in it. And sometimes those don't intertangle together perfectly. But
Dandadan figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
Anime of the year. The people's anime of the year.
Absolutely.
But let's get into this theory. So, Justin, you made some great points about Blackbeard and how we should not be feeling bad for him. At the end of the day, he's still a villain.
Yeah.
Just a little side story here. I was playing Jump Force with Viv, and Blackbeard's a character on there. I like using Blackbeard. And she says, oh, I can tell he's a villain because he's fat. And I had to have a very interesting conversation with her about not judging a book by its cover. But yes, he is a villain. I'm glad she was able to figure that out. But what could drive a sweet, innocent-looking child into the monster we see today? And I have a theory that Blackbeard is being possibly manipulated by Lafitte. So, he is the most mysterious of the Blackbeard pirates. We know he's a little older. He used to be a sheriff. He's from the West Blue. God Valley is also in the West Blue. And we know he has some level of hypnotic ability. Who's to say he's not the one that rescues Blackbeard from this situation? Similar to how you see Stroyzen and Big Mom, Shanks and Luffy. Who comes outside from his bloodline and takes him under his wings? And angel wings, of all things. After all these horrible things that have happened to Blackbeard, seeing this person with an angelic appearance could have been enough for him to join him on his side. And we see he is Blackbeard's most loyal subordinate. It comes up plenty of times. Blackbeard said it himself. We're not a real crew. We all have our own agendas. We're all doing our own things. I forgot who it was. I think it was Pizarro. He even mentioned taking over the Blackbeard pirates. And Lafitte was like, I will kill you. Like, straight up. He is not playing about Blackbeard. But is that because he's loyal to Blackbeard, or because Blackbeard is a pawn in his game. He was able to make it to wherever they were hosting, looking for new members to join the Seven Warlords. He wasn't detected by Mihawk, Sengoku, Doflamingo, all these high level users you would think would sense him there. And then just going back to his hypnotic powers, maybe that's a reason why Blackbeard doesn't sleep. Maybe that's a reason he has the multiple personalities. And we don't know what his devil fruit is. We've gotten introduced to every Blackbeard Pirates member's devil fruit except his. And while we spend so much time talking about the devils, and we see Emu with these devil wings when she takes over Gunko,
Yeah.
Lafitte has angel wings. It's the opposite here. So I'm going to throw it out to you guys. What do you think about Lafitte being the one pulling the strings on Blackbeard? Crazy theory, I know, but I'm just trying to justify what happened to this child to push him over the edge. Because even Rox isn't living like this. He's a very honorable man. I liked when he had that conversation with Harold, and he was like, I think this is my last ride. I just want to protect my family, and that's good enough for me. This is, I don't know. Justin, what do you think? I see the gears turning.
So we got a joke early on about Luffy being manipulated very easily by the hypnotist, and someone remind me. I remember Django, of course. 1-2 Django working super easily on Luffy. What was the name of the impressionist from Baroque Works? I was trying to go through my calendars. Like, it was Miss Tuesday, Miss Merry Christmas, which was the one that changed the color. Remind me in the comments, people. I'm going through hundreds and hundreds of characters off the top of my head here. I got Gaimon, give me a pass. Luffy is very easily manipulated, and it's something that we haven't gotten a lot of in a while. The kind of magic that isn't magic. The how do we mess with someone's head, but it's not a devil fruit, it's not Haki, it's this other thing that it works because Luffy's just not that smart. And so Lafitte having a hypnotic power that could affect Blackbeard, I would be hesitant to think that it would be something that could take away his autonomy, just because if he's just a side character being totally manipulated, it kind of takes a lot of the fun out of it. If it's something,
I don't mean like full, like more of like pushing him down this path.
Well, wait, I'm gonna give you credit, because like if he has multiple personalities and he's someone that helps him manage those or flip between those or something to that effect, that sounds pretty reasonable. Something that's a big part of Luffy's success is his dependence on his crew. Blackbeard's initial crew, his Impel Down crew, they all seem pretty ride or die. I mean, in that case, they practically did. So the idea that Lafitte is having some kind of effect on Blackbeard's mental state doesn't sound wholly unreasonable to me at all. And it might even be something where I know we're all kind of considering, where is Rox? How did Rox end up? What if Rox was the person with the Opie no Mi, and he's living on somehow? We had the panel where he first shows up with his fingers in a weirdly Opie no Mi kind of fashion. We don't know if he has a devil fruit or not. But if there's something like, I feel like that's way too theory crafty for me to be like, well, what if Rox took over Blackbeard's body? What if xEBEC took over Teacher's body, or is involved there? It probably would be something that he would need a mental health supporter, like a hypnotist, around him all of the time supporting him. So I think it's totally reasonable for that to be the case. I'm curious how that line will be walked in the narrative to not take away from either character, but I'm interested to see it, because we've seen the precedent for hypnotists having effects on our primary characters.
All right, so yeah, it's full. It's funny that based on what both of y'all said, there's two different shows, and there's two different instances in media where I feel like the same scenario happened in both cases. They were being controlled by someone else. I think in this particular case with Blackbeard, we see the three skulls, we see the three you know, parts of his Jolly Roger. Like we know something about him, and we see the three. So I look at that as almost like the three hearts of Blackbeard, right? So there is a part of me that does believe that because of the mention of that split personality of that, or that use of the Opi no Mi to add to another personality, it makes sense to say that it still exists to somewhere out there. And maybe that's one of the maybe that is in itself the other devil fruit, because him understanding that, you know, if I can't do it now, I'll have to find a way to live on. If I can't live on, alone, then heck, I'll live on within my son and just help him along the way. But I think within that, it might create a third reality where now, because let's say if Rox is Domi reverse seed and he then did that to his son, now you've created three personalities in one. If, let's say, I look at it from the Naruto perspective with Madara, you know, he thinks he's in control, but in truth, he thinks he's in control, but in truth, it's Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu's not truly in control; it's Kaguya. And I'm thinking, for those who've seen Moon Knight, there's three sides of dang, I can't.
Moon Knight.
There's three sides. There's three sides of Moon Knight, but there's only two sides that we know. You're right. There's at least three sides, and there's only two sides that we know that he has control of. But there's a side that he seems to completely lose control, like in terms of we don't even see what happens. And when those things happen, it's some of the times where he's really protecting himself. But we also see after the end that side is being controlled by Khonshu. So I look at this as like one of those other situations where hopefully I would hate to see that Lafitte is being controlled by Emu, because I just don't want Emu to be just to have his hand in another player that would be against him. But to some extent, it would make sense. I even thinking about it in terms of Lafitte's age. Lafitte is the oldest member on the Blackbeard crew. Like he's probably around the age of like a Brook. So that says a lot about like what time frame that he even came from, knowing that he has Gunko on his side, who clearly has some sense of ties to Brook prior to him leaving with the Rumbar Pirates. So I think there's a lot of different little nuggets that could definitely lead to that. And if that does play out the way I said it, unfortunately, it does sound like once again Emu is in control of things, which it makes sense. It's once again like you said, Justin. It's the structure that is in control of everything, and it's almost like a Hydra. You think you cut off one neck, but in truth, that its hands are already in so many things that to destroy just one part of it doesn't really change a thing.
Yeah. If you think you're killing off all of the problem, you're killing a lot. That's a problem. Like you can't win that way. So
Exactly.
the idea of maybe there's somebody infiltrating. There's always going to be more at play here. The other person I was trying to think of was Miss Golden Week. By the way, that's the name of the young girl.
Old Marianne.
was gonna bother me. So yeah, I like Lafitte having some kind of deeper importance to the narrative. I think what's also kind of interesting is, did Oda plan for whatever twist is going to be there, or is it a case of like, I need a character that's going to give me an option down the road, and I'm going to have just enough intrigue here so that what people are wondering, and then when I finally find that thing that I need, Lafitte was there the whole time.
And it's possible because you don't see Lafitte that much. If you like think about it in terms of panels, if there's over 1 million panels, Lafitte is in like 16. Like you don't see him often, and when you do see him, he's doing something very, very specific. So
He on the solo missions.
literally, and he's the only one that seems to consistently stay on those solo missions. Even Buddy, who has the warp fruit, he's usually with a one or
Van Auger.
Van Auger. Van Auger does 2-man groups, so he'll warp to Blackbeard specifically and help him. But when you're talking about solo missions, Lafitte is off on his own doing whatever needs to be done and reporting back. Like, usually when you're capable of doing that, it's because you're capable of protecting yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Katarina Devon has the mythical zone that lets her transform, the nine-tailed fox, right? Like, that lets her transform to anyone or anything. That seems like a pretty top-tier infiltration thing. Van Auger has the warp fruit. That seems like a top-tier infiltration
Sure, you can go. You can go invisible. like if there's,
but it's Lafitte that does the like that's he's got to like that's
something's there.
Intense.
Yeah, it's like there's something there.
And they trust him to go. Like, they sent him to the 7 warlords and the admirals, and didn't worry about him getting captured. Didn't worry about him getting killed.
Like, he was fine. Like, it's like,
and he was okay with it.
Right.
That to me is a bigger flex than Kizaru asking if you want me to go to Wano.
Yeah.
There's an X-Men character. There's a better way to say this, but this makes me laugh. I don't know if you remember this character, but the character's name is Forget Me Not. And unless you're literally staring at this person talking to them, they're no longer in your memory. As soon as you look away, you forget them forever. They've never. If you look at them, they could be like, "Hi, I'm Forget Me Not. Please don't look away. I'm having this conversation with you." But if like a sound goes off, you look away, and then you look back, you'd be like, "Who the hell are you?"
That's hilarious.
and effectively, that person is perfect for all kinds of infiltration.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing here? All right, I'm getting somebody. And then you forget as soon as you look away. and I feel like Lafitte has some kind of nonsensical, like, infiltration ability like that.
He does have a Toon Force to him.
He does. He got into the peak of Mary Joie. His very first appearance, while under the radar, is kind of one of the scariest feats.
Mm-hmm.
Mihawk was like, "When did you get here?" A man named Mihawk. For the eyes.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he in the same stance that Rox was in when he pulled up on Emu?
Now I need a side-by-side comparison. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
gotta
he was
look
leaning up against the wall.
Leaning up with the leg up, just chilling. It was like pretty much the same stance, but he was a little bit higher.
So we're saying that maybe Rox is Lafitte looking after Blackbeard.
I didn't think about it. I just maybe.
Maybe he was his best friend growing up on God Valley.
I'm not sure.
Know.
I'm not sure about the timeline. The wiki says that Lafitte is 39 years old pre-time skip and is 41 post-time skip. So that might be outside of the timing for God Valley.
Blackbeard's age.
5 years ago, if you would have looked at that same wiki, it would have told you that Luffy had the gum fruit.
I'm just throwing out there that I have not gone back and read the chapter that told me how old Lafitte is, so I've got a wiki here to.
But hear me out. Hear me out. If that is the case, if he is 39, 41, we don't know where he came from, right? They didn't say anything about that. What if he was on God Valley? What if he did? What if Rox did just jump into another body? And that was just some kid that he saw. And just stuck with Blackbeard the whole time. They're about the same age.
I mean, the options are there. Like I was looking at the timeline trying to figure out like could somebody else have had the revival fruit before Brook, and then Brook died and came back, and then does the fruit come back? But that timeline doesn't work out. So even if there were like these weird multiple instances of the fruit, because it could only happen once, it doesn't fit with Brook's. But we're seeing
Brook is dead right now, which is crazy. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like Brook is dead right now.
But he still can't swim. So is he still a devil fruit eater? Does he still have the revive fruit?
He's on the water somewhere. Yeah, he's on the water right now.
He hasn't found his body yet. His soul is just out there floating around during this time.
But I mean, even now when he's all bones.
Oh, you're saying can he die, or is he essentially immortal now?
Is the fruit
He
gone?
should
Is he
be.
still the revive eater? And there's no
Like I
other
said,
fruit around
that's a good
because
point. It's like the only one
because
that's
he's
tied to a soul, right?
So I look at it as it brings you back to life, and then you're still the user. But I feel like if his body didn't decompose and he would have just came back to life, he would still be that user because that is the fruit's power. And the
Right.
power hasn't been deactivated because he still wouldn't be able to swim. So if you had the Yami Yami no Mi, I shoot you, you come back to life, I shoot you again, now there's a new fruit.
okay.
He actually got lucky that his body turned to bone because by it going back into a boneless body, he can't die again.
Oh, he could die again. He could definitely die again.
But that's what I'm
But
saying.
how?
Like,
If his soul can leave the body and return, how
I'm
can
sorry.
he die?
I mean, we this is like who all can lift Thor's hammer. We're gonna get really scientific. But look, we don't have to get into the logistics. I'm sure Odo's like, yeah, I don't know.
The Soul King lives on.
We'll definitely have to circle back to this conversation, but I think
there are
we've
lots
gone
of ways
this.
to revive.
Yeah, we've seen it. What's his name? The guy from Doflamingo's group.
Oh, the snotty
the
boy?
old guy. No, the old guy.
G.
Yeah, his soul. We saw it leave his body and then come back.
Go right
So,
back.
yeah, so we spent a lot of time catching up. One Piece has been on a great roll. That's going to wrap up our One Piece talk. You guys let us know if we missed anything, if there's anything you disagree with us on, anything you agree with us on. Is Lafitte pulling the strings? What's up with the Davy Clan? Let us know. But we're heading into our final segment of the night. And we've got I don't even know what we're going to call this thing. I guess we'll call it the comment corner for tonight.
I've been calling this Sup Nerds.
Oh, we call it whatever you want, dog. But, excuse me. We're going to cover some comments on a popular video. We've got, shout out to the Animanga Junkeez. We were over there a couple months ago. And I posed a theory that you can lose your Conqueror's Haki. We got, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh, my bad. We got a lot of comments on that thing. Haven't been able to get to all of them. Able to get to some of them. Codename, you got a few comments you want to bring up so we can take a look at these?
Yeah, I should have been a little bit more prepared. I apologize. I got lost in the conversation. That's what happens when you have a good chat. So I'm going to start with the easier one. So from said Eddie, I'm sure I'm butchering that, but I'll post that.
We'll put it up in the video.
So based on what Chris says about you being able to lose Conqueror's Haki, their question is, and what exactly is Rayleigh doing right now that allows him to keep his overpowered Conqueror's Haki? What say you?
That's the easiest layup. I think I responded to this one. Rayleigh is doing whatever he wants. Rayleigh has the best life in One Piece. He lives in a tropical place. If he gets bored, he can sell himself into slavery and free himself. He is with the world's most beautiful woman. And for whatever reason, she lets him go out and sleep with other women. I'm not saying that is part of his extravagant life, but it seems like a very chill existence. And people don't bother him just off of his name. He's stood up to Kizaru. He's scared Blackbeard. Again, like, just because, your definition of a conqueror doesn't line up with everybody else's, that man is living his best life.
Living his life like it's golden, if you will.
I don't know. I don't know that anybody's broken his will. We haven't seen it on screen, anyways.
Haki, maybe.
To some extent, if he's still going out and doing what he wants, right? Like,
the feeling his Conqueror's Haki would ever put her down either. So I mean, I agree. I think whether we agree with the idea of Conqueror's Haki going away or not, Rayleigh's got it because no one's been able to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably it's really like one of the best descriptions that you can give to something like Conqueror's Haki. At the end of the day, it's like if I can't take away your ability to really push anybody down or like change how I feel about something, isn't that what Conqueror's Haki is? Like how he chooses to display it is really to his own discretion. That's the point.
Facts.
All right. So I got another one for you here. So this is just not correct. Oh, this is from Chartoons. Says this is just not correct. We can easily confirm that it's not how Conqueror's Haki works. We have two retired old men who were underlings, and their only current ambition is to chill with their lovers, and they both have it in spades. Ace and Whitebeard both extremely ambitious too, so even by your logic, there would be no reason for them to lose it. Whitebeard's dream, while it sounds simple and sweet, is one of the hardest to achieve out of anyone's. He wanted his family to be free and run wild. He had to become one of the best to allow that and command fear and respect from everyone. What say you?
The first part of that, if we're talking about Scopper and Rayleigh, I mean, again, if Rayleigh's got the best life, Scopper's got the second best.
Right.
He's essentially doing the same thing, but I think things might be a little bit harder with a giant. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Scopper's got the best life.
Scopper's got the kid
and One Piece.
He made it work.
Yeah. however you want to look at that.
I mean, Rayleigh's got Mihawk. Mihawk's clearly Rayleigh and Shockey's kid, right? Like that's what we think, right?
That would be hilarious. I could see that.
I want if I can give Chris some support here, I'm gonna do it with one of the community's least favorite Conqueror's Haki users. That would be Eustace Captain Kidd. When we say that it's possible, or when anybody says that it's possible that someone loses Conqueror's Haki, we're equating Conqueror's Haki to will. Like someone's will has been broken. Maybe they hypothetically could use it again if they got the will. I'm not sure, but Kidd's gotten beaten a lot. And I don't think he's lost Conqueror's Haki because his will hasn't been his body's been broken. You know, he's kind of like a fighter going past his prime, having gotten too many concussions, but still wants to keep going out there. Kidd still has the will. Maybe he doesn't have the power to do it, but there are other people that once they got beaten, they got absorbed into Kaido's crew. You know, did Apu ever have Conqueror's Haki? We may not see it again because if he was beaten, he just went under it. Same thing with Hawkins.
Right. Just gave up.
If he ever had it, he was a supernova. I think it's possible more supernovas had it. But he gave up on his dream. He's now subservient to someone else. Someone like Ace. Ace was kind of beaten by Whitebeard, but Whitebeard's goal wasn't to break his will, and Ace's will wasn't broken. He decided, I could have a loving parent, which is what I've always wanted. And so, like, even his will wasn't broken when he was absorbed into the Whitebeard pirates. So, like, if you're looking at the idea of someone losing Conqueror's Haki, it's basically losing their will to fight.
Right.
And so, maybe also look at, like, Sanji when he couldn't use any kind of Haki against Black Maria. You know, he didn't have the will to use it, and so that was the case. You know, if someone doesn't have the will to go out and live their best life because they've been beaten down.
Yeah, and... Yeah. Just to piggyback off what you're saying, Zoro, I think, is a great example. He's technically a subordinate, but, you know, he's got Conqueror's Haki out the wazoo. Right. You know, we've seen that.
Just like
then, and then you look at characters like the Seven Warlords and how big a threat they were in their prime. Who's to say Crocodile didn't have Conqueror's Haki? Because if he definitely didn't show any signs when he fought Luffy, but if he is to be a big player, he's definitely going to need Conqueror's Haki now. Gecko Moria, if we are to believe the cover story that Gecko Moria and Kozuki Moria are the same person, I don't think you run into a fight with Kaido without Conqueror's Haki.
Definitely losing if you change your name.
You know what I mean? Like these are people like that generation. Like Doflamingo, he was subordinate to the world government, but he was also doing his own thing. His will never shook, never broke. That's Boa Hancock. She's another one. She was a warlord, but she did her own thing. But Crocodile was doing his own thing. But Whitebeard put him down. He broke his will.
But I think you could have honestly stopped it at Zoro. I think Zoro is honestly the best way to describe it, because when we think about Zoro and the fact that he has Conqueror's Haki, there's a difference between Zoro having Conqueror's Haki and Luffy having Conqueror's Haki, and Ace not having it and Whitebeard not having it. And the reason for that is because Zoro, just as much as he trusts in Luffy's dream of becoming King of the Pirates, he has his own dream and he still pushes forward for that just as much. The difference between that and Ace and Whitebeard is their dream, what we've been trying to say, is it essentially canceled out each other. Whereas Whitebeard, yes, at some point in time, he might have thought he wanted that. He wanted to be this, this masterful captain and everything. And then when he decided he wanted a family, he then put his trust that his family would, one of them would push on Ace specifically to become the next Pirate King. Ace, on the other hand, who initially started as someone who wanted to be the Pirate King, but keep in mind, even when he said that, he also believed in his brother incessantly. Like, he was very consistent and like, my brother's gonna be the Pirate King. So that's one thing in itself. It's already showing a little bit of a certain lapse in like your belief in yourself, because if he's going to be the Pirate King, how are you going to be the Pirate King? And
I kind of believe that he said that Whitebeard was going to be the Pirate King. I thought Ace wanted Whitebeard to be the Pirate King.
He believed that Luffy would get it, but he believed that Whitebeard should be it. So with that in itself, if your belief is in Whitebeard and Whitebeard's belief is in you, neither one of y'all are really trying to be the Pirate King individually, because you think that each other should have it. Father wants his son to grow up and take the mantle. Son's like, I'm good where I'm at. You got it. I believe in you right now. I don't need to take the mantle. I'll protect you. So that's where that gets canceled out. With Luffy and Zoro, it's two totally different things.
Agreed. Hey, I brought up that Moria thing just because we forgot to mention Yamato's cover story, which crazy reveal with if Gecko Moria is Kozuki Moria, the hero who fought against Kaido to save Wano, and if the same bowling pin that the world government wanted taken out for whatever reason, not even the world government, this was higher than the world government. They gave this command to a celestial dragon to get Moria out of there in Doflamingo. So
and you can only imagine what they offered for him to do it too.
Yeah, I just didn't want this podcast to end without giving Moria his flowers. His whatever. Yeah, Justin caught that.
If we're talking about somebody who might have had Conqueror's Haki and then had his will broken, Moria's got to be at the top of that list.
Yeah. What can he say his name in the streets?
Crocodile's close, but I mean, if he got beaten down so bad he had to change his name.
Yeah. You change your name in the streets, some people don't recognize you.
Yo, it is crazy. If we use those two as examples, then Crocodile got beat so bad he changed his genders. Moria got beat so bad he changed his name. His body's different. Like, those stitches on his neck, that opens up a whole nother can of worms.
Hey, I'm a end it here, because this is just something I want people to think about. Because we just talked about the changing of genders, and sometimes information gets changed from one thing to the next. What if Crocodile's tritoma?
Wow.
Yes.
Right?
Wow.
As your One Piece expert, yes, that's what I want to see.
Like, what if that's just tritoma?
Maybe she didn't die from the love sickness.
Yeah, because if you look at Crocodile, like, it's almost like a desert snake. Like, a lot of the way that Crocodile operates is less of like a crocodile, it's more like a desert snake.
We got 3 people on the same spot: Dragon, Tritoma, Ivan.
And we know that they know each other.
We will all go. That'll be the greatest reveal in anime history if Crocomon is the thing. There's no way. There's like a 0.001% chance. There's no way Oda would do that, knowing that we figured it out.
Right. He'd have to have written something different.
I don't care about any other theory. Like,
it's something that's the One Piece.
That's
the One Piece at this point.
That's a great way to end things out. Is Crocodile Tritoma? Wow.
Yes.
Y'all
confirmed.
Y'all, what? Yes or yes. Y'all let us know. Again, great show. I love this new format. I think this is something that's only going to get better from here. If you made it this far and you haven't liked or subscribed or shared, what are you waiting for? Do it now. We got mad theories in here, great info, just a whole lot of dopeness going around. Justin, it's always a pleasure. Thank you again for joining us on such short notice.
Great to be here every time. I'll come back every time we have an update on One Piece.
Absolutely. So we're going to try to get this thing out for Monday, right when the spoilers are going to hit. So y'all let us know what you're looking forward to in the upcoming chapters of One Piece. And until next time, keep nerding, friends.
Peace.